Je m'appelle Jelena Popržan, je suis née à Yougoslavie et j'ai vécu moitié de ma vie à Vienne. My first remembrance of music is the collection of LPs of my parents. It was a huge collection and me and my sister had a smaller one. There were like some children music on it and some pop stars from Yugoslavia then back. It was 80s. Those pop stars I liked were very much maked up. It's like Boy George, Nina Hagen, David Bowie, and many others from Yugoslavia then back, like Baby Doll, like Josipa Lisac, and so on. And I remember that I started, when I was a child, I really much liked to imitate them. So I was doing shows, imitating those pop stars at home, and everybody had to watch me. And I think that is what I wanted to become when I grow up. There was one then back wunderkind violin player called Stefan Milenkovic, who already played for the Queen and so on. He was maybe 10 or 7, 8, I don't know. And I liked him as well. And my mother told me that one day I woke up and I said I wanted to play violin. So then we tried 2 times, 2 years after one another to get me into the school. First they told that I am not talented enough, my ear is not good enough, so they didn't accept me. And for a third time, they were like being angry at my mother. Why didn't she bring me earlier? Because I was already 9. So it was a bit late for violin, but they accepted me. And then I learned violin for 5 years, and then I decided that I will continue. I mean, it was not that I was expecting from music school. I wanted to be a pop star, you know. So, but you don't get that. But I trusted it, and I was trying. It was very hard playing these scales and etudes and everything. But I was doing it, and I wanted to continue. So there was a music gymnasium then back, and my teacher suggested me to switch to viola. And he said, because you're talented, but you are lazy, and it will be enough for viola. Of course, it's a cliche. And afterwards, I just realized my violin teacher was viola player, actually. And since there was no viola students then back in Zrenjanin, in this small town, he wanted me to play viola. And I thought, if I don't like it, I can always come back to violin. But actually I fell in love with the sound of this instrument. But then other frustrations came, because when I was playing in chamber music or orchestra or something like that, I did not play the themes. Like we played the Entertainer of Scott Joplin, and they were playing like da 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 dum da dum da, and I was waiting until this da 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 dum da dum da da da, and it was not coming to me, and I just had to play nta nta nta. Academy in Belgrade, I got the stipendia, although I didn't ask for it. It was just, this destiny coincidence that I got it, and it was a stipendia for Summer Academy in Austria, in Horn, Allegro Vivo. And it was the first time that I experienced something like that. I was a bit ashamed to tell it, but this was real. When I saw all these teachers, professors from different academies, they were playing so good, and they were earning their money. They are living from that. That was a huge thing for me, because it was just the year 2001, I think. And since I lived through the 90s, my adolescent time was the 90s with all the crisis at the Balkans. And this 90s, of course, broke the... And everything changed. So the very big musical scene in ex-Yugoslavia, as well as in Serbia and in Belgrade, where you had really rock and roll was produced by the state. Where did you have that in a history of anything? And you had big orchestras, like big bands, which were financing by the state. And great classical musicians, soloists who were world famous and so on. And in the 90s, everything broke down. Actually, I always wanted to sing more than to play an instrument. Then I heard Iva Bitova in the 90s. And she was, of course, very, very important for me. It was fascinating. How can this be? How does it work? In one moment, I started to combine those two. I never started singing. I didn't want to, because I couldn't choose the school, which school I should study for my voice. And I experienced that when I was singing in a choir for 6 years when I was young. And I remember that it changed all my voice, my art of singing, my technique. I lost my natural voice. I started doing solo. It was coincidence as well. You might think now that my life is nothing but coincidence. Maybe it is like that. My duo colleague got sick when we came to Zagreb to play a concert. And the organizer asked me, please, could you do something? Because this organization was very hard. Play anything, half an hour. And I said, okay, maybe I can do half an hour alone. I never did it. And then I had a show for over 60 minutes or maybe even more. And it was my first solo experience. And it worked very well and I had huge fun. So the second reason for my solo project was my master thesis, when I was thinking about what to do. Artistic theses were something new at the university. And all of professors were pushing the students to do that because it's a new subject and nobody knew what to do with it. So they let the students develop on their own. And I started being interested in looping technique. And so I bought a looper, my first looper, to learn it. And I remembered about my idea that I had when I was 12 or something like that, when I was playing La Folia variations by Corelli. When I realized how variations function, what variation is and how they work, I liked it very much. So I forgot about that, but then I remembered it. And I did my first variations on La Folia, my only variations, but this composition with a looper. And this was my master thesis, of course, followed with a written work.